Michael Jackson did not become the biggest pop star in the world by accident. He treated pop music like a movie, a magic trick, a sport, and sometimes like a very expensive science experiment with better shoes. The easy version of the story is this. A kid from Gary, Indiana grows up, becomes famous, dances backward, sells a historic number of records, and changes entertainment forever. Nice summary. Also way too small. The better story is about control. Michael wanted every second to feel designed. The hand, the hat, the socks, the pause before the move. Even the silence had choreography. He started young, and young is almost too gentle a word. In the Jackson 5 years, he was a child working inside an adult machine. Rehearsals, recording studios, television appearances, and pressure most kids would only understand if their homework came with stage lights and screaming crowds. That early training made him frighteningly precise. While other kids were figuring out bikes, Michael was learning cameras, timing, and how to make a room look wherever he wanted. By the time he grew into a solo artist, he already understood something most performers never master. Attention is not given. It is directed. Then came the moment that made millions of people question their flooring. In 1983, during the Motown 25 television special, Michael performed Billie Jean and did the Moonwalk on national television. The move did not last long. That is the funny part. A few seconds. That is all it took for half the planet to start sliding around kitchens, hallways, and school cafeterias like the floor had personally offended them. The moonwalk worked because it looked impossible and simple at the same time. It was not a giant stunt. It was a tiny betrayal of physics. Your brain said, wait, humans do not move like that. Your eyes said, apparently one does. But the moonwalk also shows how Michael understood television. He knew the camera was not just recording the performance. The camera was part of the performance. He dressed for contrast. Black pants, white socks, black shoes. Your eyes went straight to the feet. That was not luck. That was design. Then came Thriller, and this is where pop music looked around and realized it might need a bigger budget. Before that era, a music video could be simple. Stand there, sing the song, maybe add smoke if the director found the smoke machine. Michael pushed the format toward short film. He wanted story, mood, choreography, makeup, lighting, suspense, humor, and a reason to keep watching even after you already knew the song. That was a huge shift. Thriller was not just a video people watched. It became an event. Families watched it. Friends called each other about it. TV channels replayed it like a tiny horror movie that accidentally came with one of the most famous songs ever recorded. And the secret ingredient was not only money. It was commitment. Michael performed like the camera was close even when the stage was huge. The eyebrows mattered. The shoulder mattered. The turn of the head mattered. If a zombie extra was late, somewhere in the universe Michael probably felt it. That seriousness could be funny. Imagine being a dancer on one of those sets. You are tired, it is late, there is fog everywhere, and the most famous person in the room is still asking whether the left shoulder hit was spooky enough. That sounds exhausting. It also sounds like why the work lasted. The bad era made the machine even bigger. Tours became more theatrical. Music videos became more cinematic. Costumes became instantly readable from the back row. He was not just releasing songs. He was building worlds people could recognize in one frame. And then there were the stage tricks. One of the best examples is the famous anti-gravity lean from Smooth Criminal. On screen, Michael and his dancers lean forward at an angle that looks like their bodies forgot to ask permission from gravity. Fans argued about core strength, balance, hidden wires, secret dance powers, and probably one uncle at a barbecue who claimed he could do it after 2 sodas. The real answer was even better: invention. Michael and his team developed a special shoe with a slot in the heel. On stage, pegs could rise from the floor and lock into the shoes, letting the dancers lean farther than a normal body could hold. The trick was patented. Not metaphorically patented, actually patented. That detail matters because it shows how Michael thought. If the body could not do the image he wanted, he looked for technology. If the stage could not do it, he changed the stage. If the shoe was the problem, the shoe got an engineering department. That is why his performances often felt larger than pop. They were designed like illusions. The audience did not need to know how the trick worked. They just needed the feeling. I have never seen that before. But the documentary version also has to include the human cost. Precision is powerful, but it is not free. A life built around perfection can become a very small room, even when the whole world is watching. Michael was famous at a level that almost stopped sounding real. Everywhere he went, people wanted a piece. A photo, a headline, a performance, a miracle. That pressure made the public version of him feel almost unreal. The hat, glove, jacket, and shoes became symbols. But symbols can flatten a person. The more iconic he became, the harder it was for people to remember there was a worker underneath it all, rehearsing until the move looked effortless. That is the strange thing about great performance. If it works, people call it natural. But nothing about Michael Jackson's peak was casual. It was built, counted, practiced, edited, rehearsed again. And then, when everyone else was tired, probably rehearsed one more time just to make the floor nervous. His legacy is not only record sales. It is the idea that pop could be cinematic, that a music video could be an event, that a dance move could become a global language, that a stage show could use engineering like a magic act, that a silhouette, a hat, and a pose could say more than a paragraph. You can still see the influence everywhere. In dance studios, in halftime shows, in artists who think about rollouts like movie premieres, in videos that treat 3 minutes like a short film, in every person who puts on socks, finds a slippery kitchen floor, and immediately becomes a danger to nearby furniture. Michael Jackson's genius was not just that he could sing and dance. It was that he understood attention like a director. He knew where to place your eyes, when to hold silence, when to explode into movement, and when to leave an image so strong it followed you for decades. So yes, the Moonwalk was amazing. The Lean was amazing. Thriller was amazing. But the real story is bigger. Michael Jackson built moments that felt impossible, then made them look inevitable. That is why people still watch. Not just because he moved, because he made the whole world move with him.